100%, I'm not joking. People ask me all the time if Portugal is in Spain. Like all the time. Just before anyone says, yeah, but Claudia, rent in London is so expensive, blah, blah, blah. There's a fly on my camera. There's a fucking fly. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Klaus and nice to meet you. If you guys don't know, I am Portuguese, but I'm currently I'm working, wow. I am old. I am currently working in London, and when I first moved to the UK for university, one question that I constantly got when I met new people was, why did you choose the UK? Or why did you choose to study here? Why did you choose to leave Portugal? Etc, etc. I'll be letting you guys know why you should also choose to study in the UK and some reasons why it's actually a very good move to choose to pursue your higher education in the United Kingdom. Alright, now let's talk about reasons why I think you should study in the UK as well. So the first reason why I think people should choose to study in the UK, and this is going to be a controversial-ish reason, is because I think the UK has a very good reputation for universities and for higher education. As much as you want to dispute with me that schools like in certain countries rank better than the UK or the United States, or that schools like teach so much better, or like professors are so much better here or there, you can't argue the fact that UK and US universities have very good reputations, and the universities that we have in the UK are known worldwide. Like when you think of higher education, what are the universities that you think immediately in your head? You'll think like Ivy League, like Harvard, Yale, and then you'll also think Oxford, Cambridge. Like that is what your brain immediately goes to. Say I was trying to get a good corporate job here in Portugal. If I have a CV from a very high ranked UK university, it will 100% sell me better as a candidate than if I had a CV from a well-ranked Portuguese university. And I'm not saying this is the right thing. I'm not saying this is how it should be, but I'm saying that this is how it currently is because of perception and the idea of a UK university sells very well. That is attributed to the fact that the UK has a long history of higher education, as much as I personally think that of course a degree from a Portuguese university should have more value in a job in Portugal, because essentially it's more relevant and it's more streamlined to the job. But you cannot ignore the fact that if you have a degree from a good UK university or a good US university, it will look good on your CV. And I'm not saying like any UK university or any US university. It has to be a good, well-ranked university, and it will actually get you a lot of credit when you're applying for jobs. The second reason why you should apply to universities in the UK is because the UK salary is oftentimes a lot higher than salaries in other European countries, specifically London. If you're from Europe and you don't come from a Scandinavian country or Switzerland and sometimes Germany, then London will most likely pay higher salary than your home country will. And like this is just a pure monetary motivation, but if you want to make higher salary, London is a good place to start. But it's really hard to get a job in London, especially if you don't have a UK university in your degree. I'd say if you were not educated in the UK and you want to get a corporate job in London, it's pretty much impossible. I personally know so many people who were educated in the UK from top universities, people who literally went to the best universities in the UK and still can't get jobs in corporates in London because it is just that competitive. As good as your degree is, like there's some really good universities in Germany, like world-ranked universities in Germany. There's some really great universities also in France, but it's going to be definitely harder for you to get a job offer in London. Now, yes, let me just premise that even though London does pay higher salary, it definitely doesn't compare to other European cities when it comes to just standard of living, because rent is so much more inflated as well. And so like that margin between your salary and your standard cost of living is a lot lower than other European cities. Yes, 100%, that's a fact. but London isn't just a good destination for you to start working because of the salary. There are other benefits of working in London, such as exit opportunities, and also being able to travel from one office to another office to another office. It is a lot more accessible if you're based in London. Just before anyone says, yeah, but Claudia, rent in London is so expensive, blah, blah, blah. Yes, of course, 100%. But personally, like me, working in London, even though I'm paying exuberant amount for rent, I'm still making more than I would if I was working in Portugal and living at my parents' house. Like, definitely. So another reason why I think everyone should study in the UK, or not the UK specifically, but everyone should move internationally to study university, is because you will have so much more of an abundant experience if you move country or city when you want to, go to university. I 1,000,000% stand by this message. I personally think that if you really want to develop yourself as a person and you want to expand your horizons, you can't do that if you stay in the same city you've always stayed in. Unless you, of course, are planning on staying in that city forever, it's fine. Like, everyone has different priorities. I completely respect that some people just, they're comfortable in their own city and they don't want to ever move. That's where they live, that's where their family is, and that's where they want to stay forever. Yeah, 110%. That is that's a very good plan, and that's very much understandable. Like, I understand why people want to do that. But if you're someone like me who wants to expand their horizons, wants to broaden their perspectives, and really wants to experience as much as they can while they're alive, then I really recommend you to study abroad. And also, university life in the UK and in the US as well, at least from what I know and from what I've heard, is very, very abundant compared to other places, some other universities around the world. This is low-key, like, kind of imperialist mindset that I'm really trying to like fight against. I don't want to make it sound like, a colonizer and like UK and the US are the best places in the world. Like, no, but I'm saying like they are very abundant because everyone goes to these two places to study, and like your social life in general and the amount of fun and the amount of experiences that you'll have are just, to me, in my opinion, incomparable to any other place. Actually, no, studying in Asia is very fun. I know like universities in Asia are a lot of fun as well. Okay, let me retract that by saying that I think studying abroad in general is going to be a lot more fun to your social life than it would have been if you had stayed in your home country. The last reason that I think you should study in the UK, and more specifically why you should study in London, is because I personally think everyone should broaden their cultural horizons. Honestly, looking back to my past self when I was in year 13, when I was like 18 and I knew nothing about the world, there's so much that I didn't know about other cultures. For example, going to London, I've learned so much about Islam and what Muslim people stand for, and what their religion is like as well, because in Portugal, that's not something you see anywhere. So you don't have the opportunity to learn about this kind of things, which I think is important. I think everyone should try to learn about different religions and different cultures and different ethnic backgrounds. Also, like, struggles of Black people. I barely knew what that meant before I went to university, and yes, a part of that is because I grew up and I matured and I aged, but also it is very much attributed to the fact that I was in London, a city that is so multiculturally diverse, and I was surrounded by people who understand these struggles and surrounded by people who have gone through these things, and that's not something I would have gained had I stayed in Portugal. I am very much for learning more about other people's cultures and learning more about other people's backgrounds in general, and it's virtually impossible for you to do that if you stay in the same city or even the same country you've always stayed in your whole entire life. Even in a place like America, where supposedly it's the most diverse country in the world, like a melting pot of cultures, everyone there is all for freedom and all for understanding each other. I've met so many like exchange students in the UK that came from America that told me, I had no idea this is how this part of the world worked. These aren't people who come from like South Carolina, okay? These are people who come from California. These are people who come from New York, okay? People who are cultured, supposedly, and not saying that there's anything wrong with them, of course not, but I'm saying they learned so much coming abroad. They've learned so much studying in another country, even though their own city is already so multiculturally diverse. that it just goes to show that you can never stop learning, and there's so much to develop when you study abroad, specifically on that cultural aspect that I'm really pressing on right now, because I'm so passionate, and I just think it's such a priority, and people should really try to develop that more and develop further where they can. And on the other hand as well, I'm making it sound like Portugal is like the least cultured place. No, like Portugal has such beautiful culture, and that's another reason why I'm talking about this development, is because when I go to the UK, I've taught so many people about my country, and I've taught so many people about my background and what it's like to live in Portugal, what it's like to be Portuguese. And those people, first of all, when I tell people that I'm Portuguese in the UK, they always react the same way, and it is, oh really? I would have never guessed. And in those situations, I am able to show people that Portugal isn't just Portuguese people, and there are people that look like me living in the country. I've had people ask me, how do you speak English so well? I've had people ask me, like, is Portugal, and this is 100%, I'm not joking. People ask me all the time if Portugal is in Spain, like all the time. So yes, like it goes both ways, this cultural understanding. It's not even both ways, it goes like, it's like a network. Like I learn about German people, I learn about Polish people, I learn about Japanese people, I learn about people from all over the world. And me going into this melting pot of university students, they can learn about Portugal, they can learn about what it's like to be Chinese Portuguese, which is a very rare combination specifically. So yeah, it's that kind of thing where you're able to meet people from all over the world and exchange different insights, which I think is super important. Alright, so hopefully this video was a good insight as to why you should study in the UK and why you should study in London. And before you hate me for all the imperialist mindset that I have been... There's a fly on my camera. There's a fucking fly. Let me just tell you that I have a ton of reasons why you shouldn't study in the UK as well. And I have a ton of reasons why you shouldn't study in London, or why you shouldn't move to London at all. So I'll be presenting those reasons in a future video, but yeah, please like keep in mind that there are two sides to each coin, and in this video I've only presented one side. So don't start coming at me because I said that UK was better than other places in Europe. Like, so yes, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Hey.